The Indian real estate has never been known to take the criticism very sportingly. It is hence no surprise that when the Union Minister Nitin Gadkari advised the builders to cut down their prices, to start selling at the base level and not think of booking profits at this moment of crisis, there were sharp reactions. Nitin Gadkari has not been the first one to advise so. Earlier, Ratan Tata has been very critical to the business of Indian real estate. HDFC chairman Deepak Parekh has categorically asked for a price cut. Even the SBI chairman has indicated the same. All these voices are not without their share of logic. The Indian real estate is standing as a business with very unsustainable business model. They have huge inventory issues, they have liquidity crisis, they have high debt to serve with even higher interest burden, they have the crisis of slow sales, and above all, they have the crisis of credibility among the buyers. At this moment, the only thing that could be advised to the builders is let's talk real. The builders cannot and should not debate over the fact that they are not in a position to cut down the prices. All of them have a very unreasonable price point. They have stretched the business to a price point where the profit margins are unreasonable. In the wake of coronavirus and lockdown, some of the developers who could not sustain the high inventory have started selling it to underwriters. All these reports that the developers have sold this much of inventory or this much of business has been done in the market is indicative of the fact that the underwriter is back in the market. The average end user buyer, an average home buyer, cannot think of coming to the housing market at this moment. It would be a much better strategy on part of the developers to make use of this period to regain the trust of the buyers, to improve their perception issues, which has been historically a problem for them. It would be a much better strategy to selling it to an open market to the end user buyer with reasonable price cut instead of having a face value and offloading it to the underwriters. The developers on their part are rather questioning today that whether Mr. Gadkari would advise the same to the municipal agencies, whether he will advise the same to the sanctioning authorities. It's like saying that two wrongs will make a right. Unfortunately, two wrongs never make a right, and the business of real estate is no exception. Probably the developers are putting pressure on the government to get some sort of stimulus package, some sort of incentive to continue the way they have been continuing for years. This is like delaying the inevitable. The ideal strategy for them would be to offload the inventory without booking profits so that the economic cycle moves, so that the trust of the buyer is restored. Unfortunately, nobody is thinking on those lines. They are pretty rigid with the fact that their profit margins are very thin and they want the government to bail them out. They want all the incentives for them and they are not at all thinking about the buyers. I think Nitin Gadkari has said something on which the entire industry has to think and think seriously. The business of Indian real estate has very unsustainable model and it won't work for too long, not in today's market. Thank you.